code set up for you. It is Watch and Learn 10. And if you go online to purchase any of the things we're talking about today and use that code, you get 10% off of your purchase. But you probably know that because you've been watching for a while. I will tell you, and we'll put a link in the comments below, that if you go and join the Batdorf and Bronson VIP booster page on Facebook, we have another code there that's for even more, but it's only accessible by that page. So you have to go and join there, and then you'll see that listed. And we'll probably do a little live video as we enter into this new month to continue to talk about that. Halfway through the month, I guess, almost. So yes, Watch and Learn 10 has come up on the comments there. By all means, use that code, because we're going to be talking about some things that you can absolutely make use of as we enter into this final month of summer, or so it seems. Seems like in some places it's been late coming, but here it is. It is definitely hot out where I am, and probably hot where you are if you're obviously on the East Coast. They've been having heat waves there. So we're making iced coffee this week. Yesterday I made a shaken iced latte. Today I'm going to revisit a technique that we've used before that's called the iced pour-over method. And all we need are the tools that we've used before and other methods, right? A Chemex, right? Chemex brewer, any type, either with the wooden collar on it, the ones we offer, or with this lovely handle here. A scale is needed for this, and then of course you need your freshly roasted and freshly ground coffee. So let's talk a little bit about the theory here. So let's say you want an iced coffee. But you know, usually you might do a cold brew, like we've talked about before, in which you put coffee coarsely ground into a container, add water at room temperature, and then simply let it sit for 12 to 24 hours. And in that situation, what people often call cold brew, is really ambient brew. It's at room temperature, and instead of using heat and pressure like we do with other methods to extract the coffee, it's time. Coffee, most of the elements, all the elements we're looking for in coffee are water soluble. Temperature helps, right? Increase speed. But if time is not an issue, if we let it sit for a certain amount of time, it's going to extract a lot of those elements and highlight some over others as compared to a hot brew method. This is kind of the best of both worlds here. You don't have time. You want a cup of cold coffee right now. Cool, not a problem, because we can actually use hot brew techniques that use hot water along with cold brew and ratios in order to achieve a nice, lovely cup of coffee. I'm going to be brewing our Harar today, which you might have heard us talk before about how much we love our African coffees. We put a link up in the comments there, so make sure that you check that out. There it is, right? Yeah, so I'll put those up later. We have some questions. So we're going to brew as if we're brewing a standard Chemex, but we're simply going to change a little bit about the amounts of water we're brewing with. Usually we talk about a 1:17, and I use a 1:17 ratio with a Chemex, which means I have, for every 1 gram of coffee, I have 17 grams of water. We're going to hold on to that 1:17 ratio, but we're just going to change how we're using water. We're going to replace some of the water that's hot water that does the brewing with ice. So we're going to brew with hot water directly onto ice. So what we do is we stay with our metrics, right? If we're using 1:17 for brewing here, we have 40 grams of coffee, 680 grams of water. All we're going to do is we're going to split that water into two different parts, right? Part of it's going to be ice, part of it's going to be hot water. So we're going to put in 240 grams of ice, and then we're going to brew with 440 grams of hot water directly onto that ice, so that we get our total of 680 for the ratio of water to coffee. Now, because we're brewing with a little less water to that coffee, what I've done is I have made my grind size a little finer than I usually would have for a Chemex, right? So because I'm not using as much water to brew with, I do want to make more of the surface area of the coffee available to the water that I am using in order to more effectively extract the things I want in the hot portion of the brew. Now, what are we going to do? What we always do, right, is we always start by rinsing our filter. Now, in this case, I'm just going to use just standard old room temperature water in order to remove those paper qualities from the filter. Right? We're not attempting to heat the vessel, right? So we don't need to use hot water. So I just use cold water to remove some of those elements. And, you know, if you've seen Ben here before, if you've ever questioned why it is we rinse the filters, does it really play that big a part in taste? You know, Brendan also has done this, you know, because you've challenged him to. You know, you go ahead and do the rinse, and then you know, if you don't think it plays that big a role, then go ahead and drink that water after you've rinsed it, right? And you'll notice, you know, that quality. I'm going to go ahead and add my ice directly. Now, with a Chemex, do be careful, right? You don't want to just drop these ice cubes right down in there. We'll work here, frozen to my bowl, and pre-weighed this ice out to save time. Typical, right? So see that, you know, what I'm doing here is I'm putting it down into the neck and let it kind of slide down into the body, right? I don't want to just drop them like little bombs right into the bottom of my Chemex. And I am using larger ice, right? Often I'll have ice around the house in the freezer that's more of a crushed style, but larger ice, I think, actually helps with the process when we're doing this what's called a Japanese pour over iced method for making cold coffee. And I think that just it helps kind of slow down the dilution, right? That hot coffee hits that ice and it hits a large mass. I think if it hits that ice, it's a fine balance we're trying to get here. We want the coffee to obviously it's going to be diluted by the ice from how it's coming out of the pour. We also want it to chill, and we have to get a right balance between how quickly it dilutes and how it chills. So I'm going to go ahead and tare my scale. I'm using 40 grams. And now I'm going to do a brew just like you would usually do with the Chemex, right? I need to stand up a little bit to get I'm going to brew to about twice the amount, so about 80 grams on top of the water. A little spot there I missed. I'm letting that bloom like I usually would for 30 seconds. And now the trick here is I've tared out the ice, so I'm adding 440 grams of water, right, to complete the ratio. And you just eat low and slow. You know, Ben mentioned that the other day when he was doing his brewing. So that's actually got me to the halfway point already, right? We'll go ahead and take me out of there. You don't need to see me leaning over the top of the table. And now I'm going to go really slow. Right on the edge there, back into the center. That has me at about 286, so I'm about a little more than halfway there. At about half the brewing time, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Going for a 3-minute and 30-second pour through on this. So I probably want to be finished pouring my water at about 3 minutes. Real slow. Don't need to go fast with this. And now, while I'm waiting on that pour, I'm going to check the comments over here. Yes, we have included the link for joining the VIP group. So by all means, if you look over, I still, after months, I still get it backwards. Check the VIP group there. Click in there, join, and then you'll get to see the specials that we offer there, as well as special discount codes that are offered to members of the VIP group. Look through any questions we have here. Good afternoon, East Coasters. Thank you, Eric, for being so polite. You'll notice that the scale plays a pretty big part of this, right? So we should probably put a link in for our scales. If you haven't got a scale, if you've been a scale skeptic, maybe this will be the thing that convinces you. There I am at 440 grams of water. And then, as with all these Borver methods, a little spin there to consolidate that slurry in the cone, right? And the reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure that the coffee, as it pours down through, that we're not leaving any of the grounds up on the walls of the filter, right? As the water pours down, it can leave grounds out, and then those grounds are not in that slurry of water and coffee grounds, and allowing the water and the pressure of the water as well as the heat to extract the things we want out of it. So we want to kind of collect them there as it finishes its pour. Sometimes you've seen Brendan refer to it as a flatbed challenge. We post pictures over on the VIP group of folks doing that. So that's a little aspect of the pour that you want to always kind of do at the end there. When you've done your last pour, I did a bloom, pour, and then waited 30 seconds. And then I poured half of the total amount I wanted, slowly, waited about 15, 20 seconds, poured the remainder, and then when I poured that remainder up to the volume of water I wanted, or the weight of water I wanted at 440 grams, then I do that little spin there, and it collects coffee from the side, the walls of the coffee filter, puts them down into that slurry so that they can be, so that the water can extract coffee from them, right? Oh yeah, we are done here. So let's take a look here. A little handy dandy. And you can see there's still some ice in here. Right? But if we feel it, ooh, cool to the touch. Yeah, okay. In referencing the Harar, call it a fruity or a fruit bomb sometimes. Well, it's a pleasant cup of coffee. Great, so there you go. You wanted a cup of iced coffee. You didn't want to wait for a day to brew. You want it right now. You have coffee. You have some of this Harar, for example. You have your Chemex, your filters, and your scale. Bam, and ice. You're able to make yourself a cup of iced coffee right on the go there, just following some of these like kind of standard principles of brewing that we've talked about over the last several months as we've done these live shows. So thank you for joining me today. I will let you know, flatbed challenge, says Brendan. Join us over at the group over there. Remember, here we have the code WatchAndLearn10. If you want that additional code, then you jump over on the VIP group. Again, you'll see links in the comments here. Jump over there, join, and then you have access to greater savings and also special contests. I think we're going to be, and then we've talked a little bit about this, we're going to be offering kind of a special package to members of the VIP group. And we're talking about creating a home brewing package that you can purchase all at once, like a starter kit. If you've been watching these videos and thinking about, kind of breaking out into more hand brew technique, we're going to come up with a way to purchase all the things you need. Just like today I talked about the fact that in order to do this, you need your coffee. We know you're already getting the coffee probably, but you also need a Chemex, you need filters, you need a scale. You also need a kettle, I think. So those are the things you need. So we're talking about creating a package for you that will come with all those things and a subscription for coffee. And we'll probably test that out via the VIP group. So that's the kind of stuff I talk about. When we're talking about special things for that group, we'll test out that package and its price point over there and work with folks there. We're also talking about a gifting program for our VIP members, where essentially you get a discount for buying coffee when you gift coffee to someone else. And then when they get that coffee, they also receive a discount coupon code to continue purchasing coffee. So those are the kinds of things that we're talking about doing over on the VIP group. We've already been doing pre-launch additional videos and then the additional coupon codes to use for online purchasing. We're thinking about really expanding how that group, how we give benefits to that group. You know, we're at 500 members now. Come over, if you see this video, join us there and see what we're going to do as we move into the end of summer and into fall, and we start getting into gift buying season, right? So COVID and the pandemic is not going to stop the holidays. We just have to find ways to be creative and continue to spend time with each other in this place and others as we continue to turn our homes into cafes. Be well. Tomorrow at Point Ruston, we're going to have our second operation of the shop. Come join us if you're in the Tacoma area or in the Ruston area. Come join us from 11 to, I think, 4 o'clock. I think that's it at the time, 11 to 4. Krista will be there, Crystal will be there, I'll be there. We'll shoot a couple of videos from there as well. Say hello to some of our fellow market vendors. Do a little intro there. We're going to be spending a lot of time with them, not just while we run our little pop-up cart. You can come get iced coffee. We're going to do shaken lattes there as well. But we're going to have a shop there. So come check it out, talk with us, and we'd love to spend some time with you in Tacoma and Ruston tomorrow, Thursday, and then keep checking back here as we continue to expand what we're doing down in Ruston, so you can come visit us. For folks not in the area, thanks for joining us. It's always great to see you here. I love making coffee with you and spending time in your home. Since I can't spend time with you in our cafes right now, it's good to see you. Take care.